But our big story tonight. Over the last 48 hours, our politicians, particularly after Rahul Gandhi stepped in, seem to be having a field day projecting themselves as pro-farmer. Name calling is the order of the day. Rahul Gandhi in Parliament called the Modi Sarkar Suit Boot Ki Sarkar. Today the BJP hit back saying the Congress or the UPA was a suitcase government. All this sounds very well. All of them claim to stand for the farmer. But a time of agrarian distress stares at this country. Away from the rhetoric, away from Parliament, we take you today to some of the real stories that are facing our farmers, many of whom are even committing suicide over issues like bouncing of compensation checks. Will anyone really look at what is happening on the ground? Tonight, a reality check.
किसानों को कोई भी सरकार से फायदा होता नहीं।
ये सरकार गरीबों को समर्पित है।
कांग्रेस पार्टी किसानों के साथ, मजदूरों के साथ डट के खड़ी रहेगी।
This is Delhi, the hotbed of Indian politics, where the Prime Minister and the opposition are fighting for what they claim a farmers' battle. But 600 kilometers away from Delhi, reality is way different in Allahabad. Pyarelal and his family were preparing for his daughter's wedding. But before he could send her off for a new start, he decided to end his own life. Reason? Unseasonal rains damaged his crops.
एकदम जैसे कि मार देगा वही वीडियो करके कुछ ना मिला.
In Mathura, farmers are either dying of rains or red tape. Suresh Chandra lost another hope when his compensation check bounced.
वो 11/4/2015 को मिली चेक. उन्होंने कहा कि तुरंत पैसा मिलेगा आपको. हमने डाल दिया इसको बैंक में. चेक बाउंस हो गया.
In Patna's Bildari Chowk, farmers have given up, burning their own hard work to ashes, not hoping much from the land bill. With more than 600 farmers already committing suicide in just 3 months in Maharashtra, there's no end to their plight in Nanded.
सरकार की इस लापरवाही से किसानों के पास एक ही रास्ता है, इसके बाद आत्महत्या का. क्या करें हम?
They're not on Twitter, so they don't trend, but they're dying on fields. India's farmer deserves much more than this. With Abhishek Singh, Virendra Gunawat and Pankaj Khelkar, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Okay, now that is the one ground reality. Now, away from all this, what are we finding? Politicking over the farmers' issues. Everyone projecting themselves as messiahs of the farmers. But I want to tell you what is happening in the backyards of our major leaders. Sonia Gandhi's Rai Bareli and Jaipur in near Varanasi, which has been adopted by the Prime Minister. In both these areas, there is a massive crop loss that has taken place because of unseasonal rain. The same sense of helplessness is gripping farmers. We went to both these areas and found that the crop loss in some villages is as much as 80% due to the unseasonal rains and hail. The question is, are those images registering with our politicians? Or will it become Modi versus the Gandhi family? Will the two leaders, will our political parties actually offer to help these people? That's the question that I want to raise. Suit boot versus suitcase Sarkar are the real issues of our farmers being ignored. That's what I want to raise with with our guests today. I'm joined by two special guests, and I'll also play out what our politicians have been saying about the Kisan. Aman Sinha is of the BJP and Sachin Pilot is of the Congress. I appreciate both of you joining us, but I'm going to raise that question to both of you. I've played today images of what is happening on the ground. Away from these images that I'm now playing on the screen, The real images are of farmer distress, and those are the images that I will counterpose with what we are seeing here at the moment in Delhi. Sachin Pilot, suitcase ki sarkar versus suit boot. Sounds very well. Nice TV one-liners. But please tell me, how is that changing the real situation of agrarian distress in this country? Why is the focus not on the real reasons for this agrarian distress? And let's not make this UPA versus NDA. In my home state of Maharashtra, 60,000 farmers since 1995 have committed suicide, and we've had governments of NDA and UPA there. Something is seriously wrong, Sachin Pilot. It cannot be reduced to suitcase versus suit boot.
And it is not being reduced, Rajdeep. I think the vulnerability of the Indian farmer is at the maximum today. And the unseasonal rain and the hailstorm has caused havoc on the lives of farming communities. And I say this because I represent my party in Rajasthan and I've seen the devastation caused by it. The problem is that it's not about the immediate impact of the unseasonal rain and hailstorm. It's compounded by the fact that there is now a fear amongst the farming communities that even if they can live through the distressed times of these months, they have the danger looming large over their future in terms of their land holdings. And I think the suicide rate in India, someone has informed me, is one suicide of farmer every 3 hours. I think it's something that should shock the people who are now running this country, because they came with large promises wanting to change this country in 1 year's time. I think it has become
Don't make it NDA versus UPA, sir. Sachin Pilot, don't make it NDA versus UPA, because the fact is that the farmers' suicides has been going on since 95. Sir, 2013, when your government is there. Sir, just a minute. Sachin ji, just a minute. NCRP data shows 11,772 farmers committed suicide in 2013, of which 879 died of pure agrarian reasons. This is when you were in power. Why are you making it UPA versus NDA? There is a larger crisis.
We have been in power. At least Rajdeep, we had the mind and the heart to take steps. Farm loan waiver, rural agricultural credit, going out to give compensation to farmers. I am saying despite those efforts, we have not succeeded in 100% as we should have. But a new change, a new dispensation in this government in Delhi should have had the courage of conviction to go out and help people when they're at the lowest points. And today what they're doing is they're taking away their only land holding that they have. The only life savings they have is this piece of land. They want to take that also. That's what you want to stop. As a political party, I'm well within my right to ask those questions.
I will come to the land acquisition bill in a moment, but let's be clear. The problems of the farmer that is leading to agrarian distress has little to do with the land acquisition bill. Their immediate cause is unseasonal rains, failing crop insurance schemes, declining farm incomes, declining agricultural productivity, absence of a rural infrastructure, being trapped by money lenders into rural indebtedness. These are long-term problems which have existed, as I said, for several decades, and they have never been addressed.
But what has been done in the last 12 months?
Why are you reducing it to 12 months? I will raise what has been done in the last decade. This is a larger problem of the last decade.
Go ahead. I am saying we have been voted out. Perhaps we didn't succeed as much as we should have. But someone has to be accountable, right? If it's happening today, why lose focus? Why not even talk about it? Why is the government not even discussing it like you are discussing this evening? Why is the government of India not discussing it? Why are the state governments not taking it up as well as they should have?
Government of India
hold on. Aman Sinha, just a minute. Aman Sinha, the question... just a minute. There is a valid issue which Sachin Pilot raises, that somewhere in the last 12 months, the empathy is missing. The Prime Minister travels the world. Could he not in the last 2 months have made one trip to one of the agrarian distressed districts of this country? He can come to Uttar Pradesh, he can go to Haryana, he can go to any of the neighboring, he can go to Rajasthan. Why does the Prime Minister not do so? One Mann Ki Baat on radio, and he seems very happy that he has addressed farmers' issues. For God's sake, this Prime Minister should be seen more with the Kisan of this country rather than with industrialists, is a general sense. That's where this perception of a suit boot Sarkar comes. It's nothing to do with how he dresses. It's whose company he keeps.
May I respond now, Rajdeep?
Please respond.
No, the government and the Prime Minister of this country accords top priority to farmers and farmers' interests. And therefore, you will appreciate that most of the measures that we have taken, even in the land ordinance amendment, are all pro-poor, pro-farmer, pro-development measures. And in fact, you know, as far as the Congress UPA 2013 statute was concerned, 90% of potential acquisitions, land acquisitions, were left out of the domain of the 2013 land acquisition statute. Those acquisitions would have been given on a 120-year-old statute, the 1894 Land Acquisition Act. We have brought them in. We are going to enhance the compensation. The market price is going to be up to four times of the market price. The 20% of redeveloped land is going to be given back to the farmers.
There is no doubt we need a land acquisition bill. Mr. Aman Sinha, land acquisition bill.
Rajdeep, you will appreciate that Prime Minister personally spoke to all the farmers, addressed all their issues meticulously, threadbare, even in that Man Ki Baat program, and the government of India accords top priority to the farmers' interest, and it is reflected in our actions. We do not need certificate from a Congress party through which the farmers have suffered maximum number of suicides. The plight of farmers presently, the Congress party is responsible for their plight.
Can I give you a small example, sir? Sir, I will come to land acquisition because I believe that the problems go beyond the land acquisition. Land acquisition is needed. You need an architecture to protect the farmer and at the same time ensure development for industry. I take that. But can I give you a simple example of what your Prime Minister has done? In his election manifesto and in every speech, he said he will enhance profitability in agriculture by ensuring a minimum of 50% profit over the cost of production. When you go to the Supreme Court, the Modi government in its affidavit says in a PIL that raising the minimum support price won't be possible. Please tell me, is this not a jumla?
No, that's an incorrect perception.
That is the truth.
No, absolutely.
Farm incomes have not been raised by your government. Urea prices today are selling in black. These are the issues you should tackle. I haven't heard your Prime Minister address the issue of urea prices or a minimum support price.
MSP prices have been raised only on a few commodities where the global prices have come down. There is some marginal decrease, but it's not only the, MSP prices have been raised,
major decrease.
But the procurement
on basic issues,
has gone up 4 to 5 times. Please understand and appreciate, Rajdeep. I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate that the quantity of procurement has gone up 4 to 5 times in many of these commodities. And not only are we giving higher MSP prices, but we are, a major quantity of these commodities is being picked up on those prices. Congress was only picking up minuscule quantity.
No, I will ask my producer to put all the key issues. One by one, we will put all these key issues which I believe are not being addressed. There is an issue of minimum supply price.
There's
the issue of... No, just a minute. Aman Sinha, just a minute. There's an issue of farm inputs, of fertilizer prices rising. There is an issue of agriculture productivity declining. There is a problem of storage in godowns. We've just got a story today from Punjab about how grain is once again rotting. These are issues which are not dealt with. And Sachin Pilot, you can't blame Narendra Modi alone. In the 10 years that you were in power, yes, you gave a farm loan waiver. But the fact is that the key issues of rural indebtedness have not been resolved. The small and marginal farmer was committing suicide even when the Congress was in power.
I think the moot question, Rajdeep, and it is that, the input cost of what it is, the MSP, procurement, no subsidies, cut in subsidies, no bonuses given, crops are rotting, and this is on the back of the tall promises. Now, I didn't promise 50% profit to farmers when I was campaigning for the Lok Sabha elections. Mr. Prime Minister did. Now, should the Prime Minister have gone to Patna or Paris? When there was hailstorm, people are dying, people are committing suicide. Should have been in Haryana or Hanover. The fact is that you're seen to be a government of a Prime Minister who thinks that farmers will sort themselves out.
No intervention. I want neither of you to intervene with the other person.
No, I believe as the Prime Minister of this country, it's incumbent upon him to sit there in the hour of need. You can't talk into a radio set and think that the farmers of the country are going to be happy with your lecture. Actions must speak. You can't just be rhetorical. You can't give a statement on radio and feel that the farmers are going to be helped.
Give me one thing that Sachin Pilot, your government would have done that Mr. Modi has not. Give me one thing that your government would have done in a similar situation today.
First of all, I would have announced immediate relief package for all the states affected by the crop hailstorm and the rains that has happened. It is devastating. We're talking about food security, we're talking about livelihoods, we're talking about farmer suicide. What steps has the government of India taken to give empathy, comfort, and to say that we are here a helping hand, financial or otherwise? Rural credit, insurance, subsidies, MSP, bonus, all of it has been put under the carpet because this government feels that we have won the mandate and the majority that gives us the freedom to do whatever we want, go abroad, do all the talking and do all the marketing.
No,
but what about the real issues? And people say that Congress party is being obstructionist.
No,
to ask a question with humanity and democracy is obstructionism. I'm afraid that's wrong. You have to be accountable. Let the government answer on the floor of the parliament.
No, I'm going to say one thing, Sachin. There is nothing wrong if the Prime Minister goes to Hanover. He needs to go to Hanover and he needs to go to Haryana. But Aman Sinha, there is a question.
But he hasn't gone to Haryana, has he?
Yes,
no, just a minute. Aman Sinha, the question
has he gone anywhere in the country?
Yes,
Mr. Rahul Gandhi asked a question in Parliament.
No,
Where is the Prime Minister?
Sachin, my question is now to Aman Sinha.
And comfort.
Aman Sinha, the question somewhere is that we do not see the Prime Minister providing me a grand plan to immediately address the issue of agrarian distress. Yes, in the long term, we need a land acquisition architecture so that the farmer is protected when he has to sell off his land. That architecture has to come in place. There has to be a consent clause. There has to be a social impact assessment clause. At the same time, we need faster and speedier development. But that is long term. In the short term, given the agrarian distress in this country, I haven't seen the Prime Minister take a single measure that I can call an emergency measure, which is actually working on the ground. State after state seems to be suggesting that the centre is not giving them enough funds to deal with the agrarian distress crisis.
No, Rajdeep, that's a factually incorrect proposition. In any case, the disbursement to the states has been greatly enhanced after recommendation of the Finance Commission reports. Now, as far as giving immediate relief to farmers is concerned, even in the event of unseasonal rains, the compensation is being the compensation has been enhanced. Even when there was crop damage up to 33%, the farmers are being compensated in totality. As far as
that's not what our reports are suggesting from the ground. That's not what our reports are suggesting from the ground. I'll try and bring Aman Sinha back on that. But Sachin Pilot, it appears that
but it is the state government which has to implement this.
Go ahead.
But the central government has disbursed all the funds. Yes, the point that I'm making, Rajdeep, is that all these funds have been disbursed, and for the first time the government has announced, these are unprecedented measures. Even when there is 33% crop damage, we are compensating in totality. The funds have been disbursed. It is for the state governments thereafter to ensure that it reaches to the right deserving person. Now there are 3-4 new crop insurance schemes which are there in the offing. There are new schemes with respect to microcredit. The agrarian production, even despite unseasonal rains, in totality has gone up, in fact. And most of the NDA ruling states, you will find that they are outdoing the UPA ruling state as far as agricultural growth is concerned by at least double, whether it is Madhya Pradesh or whether it is Punjab. And let me also point out, Rajdeep, that after the present amendments in the land ordinance bill, which is going to be debated and thereafter enacted also later on, there is going to be a massive growth in the agrarian economy, in the interest of farmers, and Congress party, it seems, is aware of what is going to happen, and they feel that one of their bastions, the rural unemployed population is going to benefit, and they are going to be decimated, and therefore they feel so insecure about it.
Okay, let me get Sachin Pilot now to respond. Aman, you made your point.
Pro-farmer is a pro-poor clause.
Sachin Pilot, there's a sense that by focusing the debate on the land acquisition bill, which many believe, including state governments headed by congressmen, which were preventing truly the growth of the agrarian sector, that you were determined to keep the farmer where he is. More and more people, on an average, we are told, as per one census figure, there are about 2,000 farmers' children who are moving away from agriculture to other fields. Now, your government, instead of giving the possibility of rural jobs, rural infrastructure, through a robust land infrastructure bill, land acquisition bill, was creating a situation perhaps where no development would take place around agrarian lands. So therefore, there is a need for a middle ground.
I think it's very sad that the debate is being turned political. the fact that NDA states outperform UPA states, I think the debate is much beyond that. It's not about one party, one leader, or even one issue. Like you rightly said, what is being done, what steps have been taken to immediately stem the crisis that's happening in this country today?
I was only responding to you.
I waited patiently for you to finish. I would accept. I mean, accept you to at least hear me out, Mr. Sinha. The point I'm trying to make is, the BJP has won elections, right? You don't need to worry about being in government for 4 years. It is not about, see, if we have to do vote bank politics, we can start campaigning before the elections. But elections are 4 years away. Today, it's a human issue. And can I just ask, is it just the Congress party? The entire opposition party, even the NDA members of this government, including Shiv Sena, including farmers' organizations, NGOs across the country, millions of people have a certain view. Now, this perception that the government of the day is an anti-farmer perception is not my creation. It's the actions of the government that have let this farming community down. And this change that the BJP wants to give, that Congress party is anti-investment, anti-business, anti-industrialization, that's absolutely wrong. Please,
I am giving both of you a hard fact.
Have investment. But the farmer community, I think, is let down, and I think we have to ask the right questions so the government can go back and say, yes, we will do something about the farming community and do it immediately, not make bureaucratic lines and have slogans and have announcements that will reach 6 months from now. It will be far too late. They must step in today.
I am going to ask both of you, and the country needs to know this fact. And you, Aman Sinha, just a minute. I will let you respond and Sachin respond one final time, because I'm going to put a fact before this country which they should know. Finding of 2011 census says India has 7.7 million less farmers compared to 2001, 15 million less cultivators compared to 1991. So on an average, India is having over 2,000 fewer farmers every day. As a result, there is a concern over farm credit, crop insurance. Farmers are not getting better returns on yield. Farming is no longer productive. My worry is that you are claiming to stand for the Kisan, and the Kisan is getting more and more impoverished every day. Aman Sinha, you first, 30 seconds. Please tell me, should that not become the focus of the debate? How are you going to raise the quality of farming in this country and make it productive for the farmer?
Absolutely. That is the focus of the debate. Our entire focus is on enhancing the agricultural production, and not only enhancing the agricultural production, Rajdeep, but giving impetus to the rural economy. No, the agricultural production is higher despite the unseasonal rains. No, it is happening on ground, Rajdeep. And let me also say, Rajdeep, that as far as agrarian economy is concerned, farmers cannot be dependent only on agrarian income. We want to give them additional sources of income, and they need to, their wholesome development needs to be there. Therefore, this model, if there is impetus to the agrarian economy, if we have some, other small scale industries also coming up in that area, that will give additional, additional employment, additional money coming into the kitty of the farmers. They cannot be dependent entirely on agrarian income, and this is what the changes in the land ordinance amendment envisage and conceptualize this. They conceptualize giving impetus to the agrarian economy,
I take your point,
to the rural economy,
I am now going to give Sachin 30 seconds.
Farmers.
You've crossed your 30 seconds.
There is going to be a massive growth over this period of time.
You've crossed your 30 seconds. I'm going to give Sachin Pilot there for the final. Just a minute. No, Aman, just a minute now.
There is not a single substantive argument with respect to land amendment ordinance which my friend has raised or which Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised. And I am willing to meet each and every argument, and I say with conviction that all the amendments are in interest of farmers and poor of this country.
I want to know, therefore, Sachin Pilot.
I think what we've heard...
Yes, go ahead. Last final 30 seconds. I want to know what is the Congress's grand plan to somehow or the other ensure that every year unseasonal rain should not result in farmer suicides.
The Congress party's plan is to make sure that the government of states and government of India stands by every citizen of this country, including farming. What I've heard just now is a desperate speech full of rhetoric, trying to say the land bill should be sold at all costs. Forget the land bill for the moment. What has the government of India or anybody in ruling position
tell me one provision,
to stop what's happening today? We have said, you have to hear me out, Mr.
Mr. Aman Sinha, this is not a program that is cross-talk.
Now please have the patience to hear me out. You are anti-farmer, you are anti-poor, you're pro even very limited corporates, and you're doing the U-turn on the land bill because under pressure. People who have funded your party are the ones who are forcing you to do this. The people of India will ask you questions. What Mr. Gandhi said, the farming community will come back to hurt you. They voted you, they trusted you, you betrayed them, and today they're killing themselves. And you're giving long speeches about how you want to implement these grand plans.
I'm afraid we are now slipping back to rhetoric.
4 years.
We are slipping back to rhetoric. Aman Sinha, Sachin Pilot, I must end there. The moment we slip back into rhetoric...
I am there with this country and the farmers, but they have to show by actions. They have taken people vote, now they must deliver and perform.
Okay, we will wait. My point is the farmer...
He was not even here when the hailstorms took place.
I am sorry that when the fact is that is also true that your leader Sachin Pilot was not here when the hailstorms took place. He was at that time abroad on a 56-day chutti, and when the farmer needs the Prime Minister to perhaps at least go and put his arm around their shoulders, he is off on foreign trips.
Rajdeep,
so both...
Prime Minister
no,
is
I am sorry.
all the issues
I am sorry, the Prime Minister could have gone to Haryana as he went to Hanover. The Prime Minister of the country and Rahul Gandhi should have spent more time in Amethi and Raebareli rather than going to Bangkok or wherever he went.
He does not go on a vacation to Hanover.
It's not a vacation. The farmer wants empathy and the farmer wants a visible leader of the opposition.
And you keep using a foreign.
We have all empathy and sympathy with the farmers of this country.
I'm going to leave it there.
And we have the...
I'm going to leave it there. I would like
to reflect that the farmers of this country are predominantly with us.
I'm asking my producer at that point to switch off the mics. I appreciate both of you joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you will listen to my take, because it is important for both Mr. Modi and Rahul Gandhi in a sense to listen to this. It would be a pity if a serious debate on the agrarian crisis is reduced to political name calling. More than 600 farmers, for example, have committed suicide in Maharashtra alone since the start of the year. Crop loss has been over 50% in several parts of North India. Grain is still rotting in Punjab's godowns. Farm incomes are declining. Urea prices are rising. Why don't Mr. Modi and Rahul Gandhi undertake a joint, I repeat, joint yatra of the worst affected areas and look for long-term solutions? Or am I asking for too much?